originally in English. A note with regards to the most recent project by Stephen Greer that involves organizing a new press club event with numerous whistleblowers coming to light. These are my thoughts on the subject, the result of 5.5 years of direct communication with the Toleka crew, with additional comments from Athena Swaruu. There are different layers of lies. First, there is a layer of the deep governmental lies and operations to do with the ET subject, of which the public and even the politicians are not aware of. Then, there is yet deeper level where all sorts of black operations take place. Behind them, as Greer himself explains, we find top-secret rogue black op groups, which operate beyond the law in absolute darkness. Greer tries to address and expose different layers, and with the secrecy, and bring positive changes with all that it entails, according to him. I would be lying if I said that I do not support wanting to expose the lies. I would be lying if I said I do not support when truth is revealed and shady facts brought to light. I believe at a certain level of the game this would even be necessary, if genuine, and I respect it. There is nothing I like more than when we expose Cabal's plans ourselves and make people understand many of its agendas. Furthermore, it could be argued that cracking the matrix on that level is needed in order for the less aware members of our society to start to think and question things. Seeing the witnesses with that kind of information is what they might need to wake up to the most obvious lies and overall falsity of our reality. On that level of the game, I praise the efforts, if genuine, obviously. What I do, however, see missing from the picture is first the awareness of the fact that beyond even deepest levels of the most top-secret groups Greer wishes to expose, there lies yet another, and I would say most central core of the problem, and that is the ET meet human level of Earth affairs, and obviously level of the Federation itself. And it is on that level where the true control takes place. It is that level that manages what goes on in all the layers underneath. Is Greer aware of them at all? Would exposing, even if it was done, what goes on in the lower ranking levels of the game stop the true controllers, both those on Earth and from space, from changing what they have in mind for our planet, which is an isolated realm full of contrasts and challenges? Are we being naive, fiddling here with exposing of the lies on that low governmental level? Or perhaps it must start somewhere. Many angles to ponder. Let's say that it is so. Nevertheless, what still is missing from the situation is the metaphysical layer of it all, which goes even further beyond the Federation itself, of many souls from the other side wanting this kind of experience, limited and difficult, with apparent isolation from ET reality. I know by direct experience that it is so. Another point, addressing the Congress and politicians through constitutional avenues in order to expose governmental secrecy, as Greer intends, feels to me like asking a Santa Claus to admit he is not real. How can we expect the very system that is put in place to protect itself to openly admit to something that goes against its very raison d'être? And I am referring here to the deeper levels of the deep state, because it is them who are really the ones that hold the official politicians in their hands. I understand that on the surface it looks as if we did have laws, constitutional rights, justice and all. So it would seem rational to want to address those official institutions to look at what goes on in shady levels underneath it. The problem is, it is those shady levels underneath that govern the ones above. They won't let the official institutions, their puppets, go against themselves, their masters. As I see it, you can't fight the system using the system itself. Or can you? What I'm worried about it all, and this is when the next and a very important point comes in, is that even if the shady masters do allow the exposure of lies, since the official governments are nothing but their puppets, what kind of lies will those be? And what truths? What is it exactly that Greer is fed to then feed to the public? As impressive as Greer's efforts seem to be to everyone who craves the deceptions to end, this point is simply something we must consider and very seriously. As Yaski said in her recent video, Cabal operates by layers. When one is breached, there is another just underneath. And what this point links to is the long-planned agenda of false alien invasion, one of many Cabal's cards on the table and which they have been scheming for a long time. Would the types of disclosure Greer plans to present to the public favor that? We would be naive not to consider this as a high probability. And as the side note, let me assure you, managers as the Galactic Federation are of the affairs on Earth, there are absolutely no plans or reasons to invade Earth. It's something that is simply not happening. In general, whatever comes out of Greer, however impressive it may be, most certainly is a psyop, where the government is actually choosing exactly what the public should think. That is what is happening. And that goes exactly with their agenda, including the probable false alien invasion. Example. A few days ago, we noticed a report of a UFO landing crash in central Las Vegas. And it has been taken as a true story. We've looked into it, and for what it is worth, we cannot verify it ever existed, even having full access to all air traffic of the area during those days. For what it is worth, Greer is known to be a CIA asset, and this has been known for a very long time. But even if he were genuine, and genuinely working to expose all those lies and government operations, he would be naive at best. When someone becomes uncomfortable, they eliminate that person, and they don't even hide it any longer, as they recently did with Dr. Rashid Buttar. If Greer wouldn't be an asset of the very same organizations he is claiming to expose, they would have already erased him like 10 times by now. So he is most probably controlled opposition, and even if he has genuine intentions, the system would be feeding him exactly what they want the public to think, not to know. So even if he is genuine, he would be a naive, useful fool at best. His intentions are simply too naive and too aggressive against the system to be true. You cannot expose such a powerful level of the system without them taking action against you, unless they want you to do exactly that, and as a part of a larger psyop. And that goes for us as well. People demand proof, and they have been attacking our group for years because we cannot give any proof of any kind. We can't simply because if we do, the system would erase us all very swiftly, including us up here, because the system does not stop on Earth. So our group not giving any proof is exactly what we want. It is protecting us. Our aura of UFO nuts and wackos has protected us from further harm and from deletion. Whoever can see through this, our information will serve. And whoever can't, we cannot convince anyway. No evidence will be enough, even if I land a Susie starship on their front lawn. We cannot go more overt. We do not wish that. It is counterproductive. It all brings me back to the communist Poland back in the 80s, my home country, with Lech Wałęsa, leader of the underground and then not so underground anti-communist solidarity movement, of which my family was a part, bringing the country to freedom and resulting in many social changes that ended the communism in 1990. Not many of you might know this, but Lech Wałęsa was actually later discovered, many years later, to have been secretly signing agreements with the communist regime before the communism officially fell, dealing with them and charging money. He literally turned out to be what many of us call controlled opposition, something that especially hurt my father when he found out. Do not take my word for it. The story can be researched online. A hero at first, traitor in the end. The way it works is that there comes a time when the controllers know something must change, that there is too much social upset to be ignored. In no way, however, do they wish to give up their reign. So they adjust to the incoming changes, but still in control of those changes the awakened people are so eagerly excited about. Remember, they have been at it for a long, very long time, and they know well how to manipulate people's perception. All this without even mentioning the deeper resets they implement to the society, but that's still on another level. With what I said above, and even assuming the intentions behind Greer's event were clean, I am inclined to believe it is not going to shake up anything in the larger scheme of affairs on Earth. It might wake up a few people here and there to think outside the box. But then, how many more will be presented with yet another box, the one that may not be so glorious after all, no matter how incredible the future might sound when listening to Greer speak. And I admit, it's easy to get convinced and excited. Having said that, do not take my and our words for anything else than what they are. We simply offer our perspective. Perhaps learning about the lies does stir something among common people, and we will rise to the occasion and demand more, once and for all. After all, it is us, the collective, with real power to bring about changes. Wanting to bring truth to the forefront, assuming it would be, and to reveal to the world the ugly facts about how our government works is great. And I even wish I could do more towards that goal myself. What I am afraid of, however, is that the ugliness extends even further. Control goes even deeper, and what reaches the public will just be another trick of the ruling elites. I guess that time will show. What do you think?